Hi there, hope you are doing alright and welcome back to this channel. So there's a lot of people that are wondering if the M1 MacBook Pro is a computer you should buy for music production. And there's a lot of reasons why you shouldn't buy it and maybe a few reasons why you should buy it. I'm not going to go into everything today. I just wanted to open up Logic and try out Serum, which is one of the VSTs I use when I produce my tracks. Serum is updated for M1 and I thought I could run Logic Pro natively using Serum in a project and then just take a little look at how it works with at least some third-party plugins. So let's take the camera and film the M1 MacBook Pro and just take a look and see how it works. I have Logic Pro open up here and I have two different tracks using Serum. The first one here is a kind of plucked loop thing, and the other track is a bass type of track also played by Serum with some delay. And if we open up Activity Monitor, we can see that Logic, if we look here, Logic is running in ARM compatibility and not Intel. So if I take the first track here and open up Serum, it loads a little bit and we get Serum open up here. I'm just using one default patch here called Crusted Pluck, and if we go under Global, we have some settings here. So what I want to do today is try to see how much CPU usage I can get out of this instrument. And as you can see here under oscillator settings, we have 1x, 2x and 4x, and these are a quality setting on Serum, and this will also affect the CPU performance. I'm not sure how that works with M1, but normally when I produce I have it at 2x, and I thought we could set it to 4x for this video. And under oscillators here you can see that we have both oscillators activated and I have also increased the unison on both oscillators to 16, and this will also introduce a lot of CPU, it will demand more of the CPU. And as you can see, I have the performance meter down there where we can see what happens with the CPU. And as for settings in Logic, we have a buffer size of 128. Processing threads are 8, set to 8 here, and 4 high performance cores, and process buffer range to medium. So I usually just produce in the box, so there's really no reason for me to have this at 128. I can probably bump it up to 512, but I know there's a lot of people that are interested in seeing the lower side of the buffer range, so I'll leave it at 128. So already here we have quite a lot of CPU hungry patch here, mostly because of the unison here and also the global setting was set at 4 here. So if I just play this back, we can see the CPU meter here. Maybe increase the volume a little bit. Okay, so there's not really that much CPU usage, and of course we only have 2 tracks. What do you expect? I also just want to go into my bass here and set that to 4x as well, and maybe turn down the delay a little bit here, so it at least sounds a little bit good. I'm thinking of making a track out of this, but so we could. Okay. So So let's save that, because it's actually been a little bit unstable, and we'll get back to that later in the video. So what I want to do now is just duplicate this track. So this will duplicate the track with the same Serum instrument here with the same settings. So we have Serum here with unison and 4x and everything like that, and I just have to copy paste the MIDI data to the other tracks. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Serums with quite heavy settings. So if we just turn down the volume and press play. Okay, so you can see that the CPU goes a little bit above 25% there. It's almost touching 50. But still no crackle in the sound. It sounds good, and no fans. That's one thing I want to mention, that the laptop is completely silent. There's no fan running. And you can see I have some other applications open here as well. I have Discord and Spotify and you know, Signal and Chrome and Mail and everything. It's just a real life thing. Okay, so that works, and let's just duplicate them once more, and let's try it out. Let's check the CPU. Okay, I think this looks really good. So yeah, I have 17 tracks, or I have 16 tracks with M1 Serum running in 16 unison on both oscillators, mind you, and we have 4x here in quality. And this is really great. You don't really need to have it at 4x. You could probably just keep it at 1x when producing, or 2x, to save a lot of CPU space. So you can see here how many tracks you can actually use if they are optimized for the M1. So let's add 24 tracks with these settings, just to see how that works. Okay, let's just fire it up and see where we go. Yeah, you can see that the CPU is going up there on the top here. And another thing I'm actually noticing, comparing to the previous generation of, let's turn off the music here. Something I'm noticing here, if you can see the CPU graph here, Logic is actually utilizing Siri, to stop listening to me. Logic is actually utilizing a lot of the CPU here, and you can also see that in Activity Monitor. In other cases, if you run, for example, Ableton Live, or if you run, or if you did run music software on Intel machines, I don't think they were able to utilize that much of the CPU here. So you wouldn't see that much CPU usage here. So this is really good, actually. So what if I just, for fun, go on preferences and I just change the buffer size here? Let's save the project first, because it's actually a little bit unstable. It can crash sometimes. It does that. So, but if I go to General here, Audio, and set buffer size to well, try 64, or no, try 32, because you guys who watch this video often ask me to turn down the buffer size. So let's do that, see if that works. Oh, almost worked. So yeah, I think it's safe to say, I mean, the settings like this are not really real world settings. I don't, maybe we have, when I produce some electronic tracks, and maybe I have one synth or two where I have some kind of unison on them. I don't have 24 synthesizers with unison and 4x. So if you just use Serum, and if you just use the built-in plugins in Logic Pro, I think absolutely you could use the M1 Mac for music production. But you just have to know what it can do and what it can't do. I have another synthesizers from Diva I like to use, and they are not really optimized yet. They actually promised to optimize them, I think, this week, but they haven't done that yet. So that's fine. So basically, if I produce something here now, I go into Serum, and this was set to 8, and this was set to 0 actually, or 1. And on global here we have it at 2. And this is just the basic settings I use when I produce. And of course, on buffer size, I just set that to, let's set it to 256, because that's just fine by me, for me. And yeah, I mean, it works. Let's turn this down a little bit. By the way, the included speakers in this Mac is sounding really good to be a 13-inch. So again, I can just continue producing. If I just want to, let's see, on the bass here, I want to add some kind of effect. Again, I want to save, because I do sometimes experience crashes when I open up a plugin like this, like Serum. It may crash sometimes. But then audio effect, okay, we can go to Fab Filter and select Saturn 2. These are also optimized for M1, and just to try to beef up the bass here a little bit. See if we can find a cool preset. Maybe not that one. Maybe something like this. Make it a little bit angrier. Okay, there we have it. Something like that. And again, this is Logic Pro is of course optimized for M1. So if you want to use plugins that are not optimized for M1, you have to open up Logic, or I can show you that. You have to go to your applications folder, and you have to find the Logic here. You have to show information, show info, and you have something called Open with Rosetta here. It's in a Norwegian, but you click Open with Rosetta, it will open Logic Pro in Intel mode, so you can use Intel plugins in Logic if you want. But yeah, again here now I can just add another track here. I can add the drummer. I really like a drummer. Let's select electronic and create. Yeah, big room, that's fine. Or no, that was not fine. Let's try Anthem. Let's check the CPU. Something like that, maybe. Okay. Let's add another track. What can we... Let's just add something included in Logic. Retro synth. Synth bass. Let's try detune bass. So it works. It works in laptop mode. Let's see how this sounds. This is not really that easy with one hand and yeah. That sounded not that good, but yeah. Let's see if we can find another one. Muted bass. Yeah, so that's a little video on how Serum, or mainly Serum, works in native mode on Logic Pro on the M1 MacBook Pro. So, can you use this thing for music production? Well, I hope this video showed you a little bit how things work. I think you have to realize that you need to check if the software you are using is optimized for the M1, and if it is, if this is something you live off, if you earn money doing this, if you already have a setup that is working good for you, I think it could probably be worth waiting. And if the system you don't, or if the system you have now doesn't work, you can probably maybe see if going to the M1 type of Macs works for you. But you have to realize that some of the software is not optimized yet. We have to wait until plugins like native instruments and things like that are updated. A lot of these are, of course, providing beta versions you can use, but again, as I said, if you use this in your day job, if you earn money off this, I think it could be wise to maybe wait a little bit. But if you are a hobbyist, if you just want one M1 MacBook Pro and you know that you're just going to use Logic, I mean, Logic have a lot of great included plugins. You can make a lot of good tracks only with Logic. You don't even need any third-party instruments at all. I think it's a great machine to at least start with music production on. And if you want to use other plugins, like for example FabFilter, they make a high quality mixing and mastering plugins. I'm not sponsored to say that in any way, I just like them. They are optimized, and again, as you saw here, Serum is also optimized, but I actually managed to get Serum to crash once before filming this video, so it's a little bit unstable. And synthesizers from Yuhi like Diva, Hive and things like that are also under development now. So there's a lot of things happening, and I think I will make more videos about this later on as time goes. And if you think that's a good idea, you should click the like button, because if you do that, you will tell Google that you like this, and I will see that you like it, and I will continue making videos about it. I am actually thinking of connecting my hardware synthesizer to this M1 MacBook Pro, the Moog synthesizer, and just see how that works. And again, if you want to see that, you can also press the like button. Yeah, like button is the currency of the internet today, and if you would be so kind to subscribe as well, I would be happy for that. And yeah, videos will come. I have a day job, so the schedule is not really that stable, so I will make a video when I think I have something interesting for you to say. That's basically it. Thank you for watching this video, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'm pretty active in the comments on my other videos and trying to answer your questions as good as possible as I can. And with that said, thank you for tuning into this video. Take care out there, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.